Nobody noticed when Maya stepped through the grand double doors of the Kensington estate. In a world where people like her were often overlooked, she had grown used to being invisible. She was just the cleaner, a quiet, determined black girl with a mop in one hand and dreams stitched deep into her heart. The mansion was massive. Cold marble floors, golden chandeliers, walls so tall they swallowed sound. To most people, the Kensington estate was the symbol of power and wealth. To Maya, it was just another job. She walked in wearing her usual uniform, a simple polo shirt with a cleaning company logo, plain sneakers, and a neatly tied bun that framed her tired but hopeful eyes. She kept her head down, moved quietly, and never touched anything she wasn't told to. That was how you survived in houses like these, by blending into the background. But that morning was different. Because just as Maya placed her cleaning supplies by the grand staircase, a sound pierced the silence, sharp, raw, and heartbreaking. A baby was crying. Not the soft whimpers of a hungry child. This was loud, desperate. A sound so full of pain and loneliness, it sent chills down her spine. Maya froze. She wasn't supposed to go upstairs. That had been made crystal clear on her first day. You clean the foyer, the guest lounge, and the kitchen, the supervisor had said. Never go beyond the second step. The upper floor is off limits. She'd heard the gossip too. Stories about how fiercely private Mr. Kensington was, how no one dared question his rules. One cleaner had accidentally wandered near the study once, fired the same day, but the crying didn't stop. She waited a moment, expecting someone else, a nanny, a housekeeper, anyone to respond. Nothing. She looked around. The place was eerily still. Not a single footstep, not even the humming of machines. That cry echoed again. Louder this time, more urgent. Maya bit her lip, torn between fear and instinct. She wasn't a mother, but she had younger siblings. She knew that kind of cry. It wasn't just hunger or a dirty diaper. It was fear, abandonment, desperation. Her heart pounded. She took a cautious step up the stairs, then another. With every step, her mind screamed at her to turn around, but her feet kept going. The cry led her to a white door at the end of the hallway, slightly open, a faint blue glow seeping out. She pushed it gently. Inside was a nursery unlike any she'd ever seen, walls painted with galaxies, a digital mobile spinning planets overhead, a crib that probably cost more than her monthly rent. And in that crib, a baby, no older than 10 months, sat wailing, tiny fists clenched, face red and soaked in tears. He was alone. No bottles nearby, no lullaby playing, just the cold hum of electronics, and a baby who seemed to have given up hope that someone would come. Maya's heart cracked. She walked toward him slowly, whispering softly, "Hey, little one, it's okay. I'm here." He looked up, eyes wide, startled by her voice, or maybe by the fact that someone was finally there. She reached out. He didn't flinch. She gently picked him up. He clung to her, little arms wrapping around her neck, like he'd been waiting for this moment for far too long. And then, silence. Just like that, he stopped crying. This baby, what was his name? She hadn't been told. No one at the cleaning agency briefed her about the family details. Just that this estate belonged to Robert Kensington, the billionaire software genius turned reckless after his wife passed away during childbirth. Yes, that must be it. The baby in her arms had to be Jace Kensington, the only heir to the Kensington Empire. And suddenly, the stories made sense. Maya remembered overhearing the older staff whisper in the break room. "That baby's cursed. Cries all day, all night. Nothing helps. 3 nannies quit in 1 month. Can't stand the screaming. They say he never smiles, like he knows his mama's gone." They didn't blame the baby, of course, but nobody dared get close either. It was like the grief in the house had created an invisible wall around him, one that money couldn't break. But here he was, calm in her arms, like he'd known her forever. Maya gently sat on the edge of the rocking chair and lowered her head to his. "Jace," she said softly, guessing at the name. "Is that you?" The baby gave a soft sigh, not a cry, not a whimper, just a peaceful breath that seemed to carry months of silent longing. He was tired, not just physically, emotionally. This little soul had cried too many tears for someone so small. Maya stayed there for a long while, rocking slowly, her cleaning shift completely forgotten. She knew she'd probably get fired, maybe even escorted out for entering the nursery. But in that moment, none of it mattered. What mattered was that a crying baby, feared, abandoned, and misunderstood, had finally stopped crying. Because someone held him. Not because they were paid to, but because they cared. She looked down at Jace again. His lashes fluttered. His tiny lips curled into what almost looked like a smile. Not full, but enough to stop her heart for a second. Then, footsteps. Heavy ones. Fast. Coming straight down the hallway. Maya's breath caught. She knew this was it. She was about to face the consequences. The door creaked open hard, and in stormed a tall, sharply dressed man with intense eyes and a phone still in his hand. "Who let you in here?" the man boomed. It was him, Robert Kensington, the billionaire, the boss. And the look on his face wasn't just anger. It was shock. Because for the first time in weeks, maybe months, his son wasn't screaming. He was asleep, in the arms of a cleaning girl. And Robert Kensington didn't know what to say. The silence in the nursery was thick. Robert Kensington stood frozen at the doorway, disbelief carved across his normally unreadable face. His eyes shifted from the peacefully sleeping baby to the young woman holding him. She didn't look like a nanny. No uniform, no ID badge, just a plain shirt, dusty sneakers, and a soft, stunned expression. "Who are you?" Robert's voice was lower now, but still firm. "What are you doing with my son?" Maya's throat tightened. She rose slowly from the rocking chair, still cradling the baby with careful arms. I'm with the cleaning company, sir. I heard him crying. No one was around. I didn't mean to intrude." "Intrude?" His brow furrowed. "That room is off limits. You shouldn't be up here at all." "I know," she said quickly, voice trembling, "but he sounded like he was in pain. I couldn't ignore it." Robert stepped forward, hand out. "Give him to me." Maya hesitated. She gently tried to pass the baby into his father's arms, but the moment she did, Jace stirred and let out a sharp wail. The loud, heartbreaking cry filled the room again. Startled, Robert instinctively took a step back. "Why is he crying?" he said, confused. Maya didn't answer. Instead, she instinctively brought Jace back to her chest. Like magic, the baby instantly quieted. Robert's jaw clenched. That doesn't make sense. He wasn't angry anymore. Now, he just looked lost. "I've spent thousands, no, hundreds of thousands," he muttered, more to himself than her. "Specialists from Boston, a pediatric sleep team from Germany, even a therapist for infant trauma. Nothing lurked. Nothing." His eyes locked on the girl in front of him. And now this. Maya looked down at Jace, who was nestled contentedly against her, sucking his thumb. It almost made her smile. "I don't know why he stopped," she said softly. "I just held him." Robert rubbed his face, then exhaled deeply. The man looked like he hadn't slept in days, maybe weeks. "He never lets anyone touch him," he finally admitted. "Not even me." That confession hung in the air like a heavy fog. Maya's heart softened. This wasn't just about the baby. This was about a grieving father, trying to raise a child he didn't understand. A man who'd built empires, but couldn't fix the one thing that truly mattered. "I'm sorry if I overstepped," she said. "I really am. You can report me, fire me. I understand." Robert was silent for a moment. "No," he said slowly. "Don't go." Maya blinked. "Sir?" He stepped further into the room, watching the peaceful baby, now fast asleep in her arms. "You're the first person to bring him peace in a long time," he said. "If you're willing, I want you to stay, just for a little while, to help." Maya didn't know what to say. She came here to clean bathrooms, not care for billionaire babies. But when she looked down at Jace's tiny, sleeping face, something inside her answered for her. "I'll stay," she whispered. Maya came back the next morning, not with her mop and bucket, but with a baby bottle and a quiet determination. She didn't fully understand what was happening. One day, she was scrubbing the Kensington kitchen floor, and the next, she was being escorted upstairs by the head butler, directly to the nursery, as if she belonged there. She didn't. Not really. She knew that. But Jace thought otherwise. The moment Maya entered the room, the baby's face lit up. Not quite a smile, but close, eyes wide, arms out, tiny feet kicking with excitement. The billionaire's son remembered her, and he wanted her. Robert Kensington stood by the doorway, watching the entire moment like it was something sacred. His face still carried that same confusion, but now there was something new behind it. Hope. That day, Maya stayed for hours. She fed Jace, changed him, sang lullabies from her childhood, and rocked him to sleep while sunlight poured in through the wide windows. Every time she moved away, even for a second, he whimpered. Every time she returned, he calmed instantly. By the end of the week, Robert made it official. "I'd like to hire you," he told her plainly, seated across from her at a long dining table no one ever used. "As a live-in caregiver, Jace responds to you. You've done what no expert could." Maya blinked. "Me? But I don't have formal training. I'm not a nurse, I'm not—" "You're what my son needs," he said, "and I'm not looking for a resume. I'm looking for connection." And so, Maya moved in. She was given a guest suite near the nursery. Her uniform was replaced with comfortable clothes. The cleaning agency called and demanded an explanation. She simply told them she had accepted another offer. They wouldn't understand anyway. Soon, her days were filled with warmth, softness, and the kind of joy that only comes from being trusted by a child who once trusted no one. But the house didn't just change for Jace. It changed for Robert too. He started coming home earlier from meetings. Sometimes he'd peek into the nursery to watch Maya read to Jace. Other times, he'd quietly sit in the corner, just listening to her sing. He even started helping, awkwardly at first, trying to mimic Maya's way of calming his son. Slowly, under her gentle guidance, he got better. One evening, Maya found him cradling Jace in his arms, rocking slowly as he whispered, "You're okay, buddy. Daddy's here." Maya smiled from the doorway, her eyes misty. This wasn't the cold, untouchable billionaire she'd once feared. This was a man, broken, trying, healing, and he was doing it with her help. Dinners became conversations. Conversations turned into laughter. Laughter turned into long walks in the garden while Jace slept in his stroller. Maya started to notice the small things, how Robert, always brought her favorite tea after her bedtime routine with Jace. How he asked about her dreams, not out of politeness, but with genuine interest. How his eyes softened whenever she held his son. Something unspoken bloomed between them. It wasn't just about Jace anymore. It was about them, two people who had lost something and found something else in each other. It happened on a quiet Sunday morning. Maya, Robert, and baby Jace were in the Kensington garden. The sun peeked through the trees, and for once, the air didn't feel cold and lifeless like it used to. Jace giggled in his stroller, while Maya blew bubbles into the air. Robert stood nearby, watching, smiling in a way that looked foreign on his usually stern face. That's when it happened. A tourist walking past the estate snapped a photo through the gate. In the image, Robert Kensington, the reclusive billionaire, was smiling down at a young black woman and his child like they were his entire world. The photo went viral. "Who is she?" the headlines asked. "From cleaner to caretaker and maybe more?" The woman who healed the Kensington heir's cry. The internet exploded with curiosity, criticism, and admiration. Some tabloids twisted the story. Others praised it. But Maya ignored the noise. She wasn't chasing headlines. She was raising a child who now called her name. Robert called a press conference the next week, something he never did. He stood before flashing cameras and reporters, his usual suit neatly pressed, but his voice far softer than anyone expected. "I've built billion-dollar companies," he said. "Created some of the most advanced technology in the world. But none of it taught me how to calm my crying son." He paused, his eyes locking onto the cameras. "It wasn't wealth that saved Jace. It was love. And that love came from someone I never expected." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Because starting today, I'm raising him with the woman who became his mother. Not by blood, but by love." Later that evening, Robert proposed in the garden. No cameras, no press. Just them. Jace sat between them, clapping as if he knew something beautiful had happened. Maya said yes, not because of the mansion, not because of the money, but because this man, once broken and lost, had become someone new. And she had too. She was no longer just the girl with the mop and dreams. She was Maya Kensington now, a mother, a wife, and the woman who showed the world that sometimes the softest hearts hold the greatest strength. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful and emotional stories every week.